Welcome back on my ones out there. It's so good to see you again. If you're just joining, hi, I'm Juan. I post fun content like this one, so you're just subscribing and check my out Saturday. So today we're gonna do another Jake Howlett video. Not the actual story. That's the week after next week. I'm just gonna talk about what inspired me to make this saga. There is a story behind what inspired me to make this saga, and it conspires of a lot of, just a lot of pure imagination. So, I'm just gonna tell you. So, to start off with, the thing that inspired me to make this an X-Men fan story is purely because I never knew much about the X-Men for a long time. Like I said in a previous video, I am not a comic book reader. Like, I've never read a single comic of the X-Men. Like, nothing of the comics of X-Men are stored in this head. The only thing I know of X-Men are the show and the movies. Those are the only thing I know of the X-Men genre. And the first time I ever saw the X-Men were not the show, because I didn't grow up with it. By the time I was born, the original animated show must have been around that time, probably on VHS or DVDs. I don't think it was on Disney Plus then. I don't even know when Disney Plus was created. Actually, now that I come to think of it, at the time I was born, the show Wolverine and the X-Men came out. So I could have grown up watching that show when I was younger, but I didn't. I never knew anything about the X-Men in general. The first thing I ever saw of the X-Men were those two crossover episodes that they had in the Spider-Man animated series. That was the very first time I ever saw the X-Men. Now, of course, I heard of these people. Of course, I heard of the X-Men. I knew, they were superheroes in Marvel, but I was more of a DC guy around that time. As you can see by my shirt here, I'm a Batman fan. But, so, I knew who the X-Men were, obviously, but I never really got into them. I never really thought they were really cool. At times, I thought, what are they? Would I like them? Are they as cool as Batman? This was 5-year-old me at this time. But, like I said, I knew who they were. The most I was familiar with was Wolverine. Anyone who knew anything about the X-Men, the first person that came... If you talked to me about the X-Men in, 10 years ago, and you said, hey, do you know who the X-Men are? I would have just said, isn't the guy that has the claws, Wolverine in that genre? And so, because I knew, that was the main person I really knew from the X-Men was Wolverine. Hence why he's my favorite X-Men character, because he's the only one I really knew from the team. So, then, last summer, I got into the X-Men movies, and the X-Men movies were the first real thing I ever watched from the X-Men. That was, the first, real thing of the X-Men that I ever watched was the Fox X-Men movies. And now, to me, that just seems so wrong. To complete an X-Men journey, I should have started with the original animated show from the 90s. That's the one I should have started with. But the thing is, regardless of how I started the X-Men journey, I still watched the original show, and I watched X-Men 97. I haven't watched Evolution or Wolverine and the X-Men or the anime series. So I might watch all those shows and then do a ranking video of the X-Men shows. But So what inspired me to make the fanmade story, I came up with it just a few months ago. Like, it was, like, I was trying to fall asleep, and it just and it just flew through my head. Like, what if I make a fanmade story about my own personal X-Men story? So, because, like, here's how me making up stories really work. I watch movies or TV shows, and I kind of picture them as, like, my own imaginative story. So while I was watching the X-Men, like, show, I started getting ideas for my own X-Men fan-made story. And that's how it kind of really struck me to make a fan-made X-Men story. So, like, I immediately started, like, thinking, like, how would this story work out? Who would be the main character? And that wasn't really hard to figure out, because since Wolverine's my favorite X-Men character, why don't I make a story about the son of Wolverine? But, of course, I didn't want to make the story about Dakin or the other son, because because I don't know anything about them. So, that's really what inspired me to make this fan story, was just because I'm an imaginative teenager. Like, I think about, like, how stories would go out. Sometimes I dream that I'm in an animated movie. There are times where I am sleeping, and I dream I'm in, like, one of my favorite animated movies, and the characters are, like, my best friends, and I'm in that movie. That's how mine works out, and I know it's silly. I'm a teenager. Why am I thinking about this stuff? But this stuff kind of just emotionally connects with me that I can't help but thinking of it. So much so that I think even after I'm finished the X-Men fan story for you guys, I might even make, like, another fan-made story, because I just love doing this stuff. I just love to do this stuff. So, like, this is just what I like to do. I mean, I even tried writing a book about it. So, like, I love making fan-made stories that I can't help but love them. So, thank you all so much for watching. Wyatt, signing out, but remember, peace and kindness, the things we need most. Stay wild.